The 12th Amendment. The 12th Amendment came from complications in the elections of 1796 and 1800 that are now important lessons of American history. The way a president and vice president would be elected back before the 12th Amendment took effect is after all 138 electoral votes have been counted, first place would be president and second place would be vice president. This way of electing sounds clean and simple until you realize that there are two big problems with the system. Back then, the president and vice president ran within the same ballot, allowing for the possibility for two opposing parties to become president and vice president. The Electoral College also had 138 votes, which is an even number, meaning that a tie can happen. Going back to the election of 1796, concluded in John Adams, the Federalist, becoming president, and Thomas Jefferson, the Democratic Republican, becoming vice president. And obviously, two people with different views in the office is a terrible idea, but it was dealt with for 4 years. Fast forward to the election of 1800. Because 138 electoral votes is an even number, and the election was actually close, the only way for the old system of elections not to end in a tie is if one elector were to throw away their vote. But come on, like who's actually gonna do that? Of course, nobody ends up throwing away their vote, so the election ends in 73 votes for Thomas Jefferson and 73 votes for Aaron Burr. Due to the tie, the selection for president gets thrown into the House of Representatives, and after countless rounds of voting on who gets to be president, they finally decide on Thomas Jefferson. So like that, Thomas Jefferson is president. After back-to-back complicated elections, the Congress finally came up with a solution to these problems via the 12th Amendment. The 12th Amendment was ratified in 1804, and simply put, the 12th Amendment makes it so that electors in their respective states vote for the president and vice president in separate ballots. Also, one of whom the elector voted for must inhabit a different state than the state the elector represents. For example, if the elector lives in Texas, the president and vice president they voted for both cannot be from Texas. This amendment eliminates the problem of ties and opposing parties becoming president and vice president because there are now two distinct ballots. And if either the president or vice president candidates do not receive the majority vote, the House of Representatives will take the top 3 candidates by ballot to immediately choose who is president.